was going for dramatic lighting, but I think I just did bad lighting. Either way, it's happening. I also feel like there should be something here. Hold on. Do cookie smut. Okay, so this Friday is Lunar New Year, and it's the year of the ox. So in order to celebrate, I made a cookie set based around that. And so I wanted to make a cute little like cow or ox. And then I thought, oh, I also want to make like a moon since it's the Lunar New Year. And so then I thought about the cow jumping over the moon. And so ultimately what I end up with is kind of a combination of cultural references, kind of an East meets West, because, you know, what am I if not East meets West? So yeah, as I show the decorating of those cookies, including some mistakes that I made along the way, I'm also going to tell you the story of the Chinese zodiac. The Chinese zodiac isn't just a series of 12 random animals. There is a little story behind it, and it's one of my favorite Chinese story, fairy tale, myth things. So I'll tell you my version of it, which is a little bit different than what you might hear elsewhere. So a super long time ago, all the animals of Earth start noticing that these flyers are going up, and the flyers say that there's going to be a huge race to the Jade Emperor's palace, and the first 12 animals to make it to the Jade Emperor's palace get to be in the zodiac. And all the animals are like, A, what's a zodiac? B, I absolutely want to be in it. So all the animals gather at the start of the race course, which consists of this super tall mountain, some super thick brush, and then a super wide and strong river. And when I say all the animals gather, I mean all of the animals. We've got our jocks, our tiger, and our rabbit. We've got our All-Americans, the horse and the dog. We've got our freaks and our geeks, our monkey, our rooster, our snake. We've got the golden boy, the dragon, which honestly I was always kind of jealous of dragons because I'm in the year of the snake, which is right after that, and I always thought dragons were cooler. And then we've got the cat and the rat. Did you know that back in the day, the cat and the rat were actually best friends? Not only were they best friends, but they were the mean girls, the popular girls. They ruled the school, and they were the kinds who, you know, they didn't want you to know that they wanted to win the race, but they absolutely wanted to win the race. And then we also have, you know, some of our gentle friends. So we've got the ram, the pig, and the ox. And our friend the ox, he is such a sweetheart. You know, he's the kind who's just so happy to see everyone. It's been such a long time since they've all gotten together. And, you know, he's not really there to, like, race because, you know, he's got his knees aren't so good. So, you know, he's just excited to be spending some outdoor time with his friends. And so the race begins, and almost all of the animals head towards the start of the race course, start heading towards that mountain. And I say almost all the animals because the rat pulls her BFF, the cat, aside and is like, listen, cat, we are teeny tiny compared to these animals. Like, did you see the tiger? There's no way that we're going to keep up at all in a foot race with these animals. We gotta think outside the box. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna call us an Uber, and we're gonna take it to all the way almost to the end of the race course, just around the corner from the finish line. And then we're going to get out, and then we're going to jog across the finish line and be like, hello, we won the race. And then we're going to get joint first and second place of the zodiac, whatever that is. And Kat is like, oh my God, that sounds so genius, except, you know, we don't take Uber anymore. And the rat's like, listen, I know we don't like Uber right now, but their app just works better. Kat's like, and the rat's like, okay, fine. I'll call us a Lyft. Back on the race course, everything's kind of going about how you would expect. On the mountain, our bigger animal friends are doing better, so the tiger and the horse. But when it comes to that, like, really thick brush, some of our smaller friends can catch up a little bit. So, like, the rabbit and, like, mysteriously, the snake is doing pretty well. But way behind, like so far behind, are our gentle friends, the ram, the pig, and the ox. They're just kind of casually walking, catching up, talking about, you know, what they're watching on Netflix. The ox has been super into Bridgerton, and the ram is like, isn't there some, like, kind of problematic stuff about consent? And the ox is like, yes, and we definitely should never forget that, but also those covers of the modern pop songs in like that old school style. It's pretty fun. Back in the car, the rat and the cat are in the back seat of the Lyft bopping around to Chromatica. Then all of a sudden the driver stops and says, "I have to let you out." And the rat goes, no. This is not the drop-off location that I specified in the app. And the driver's like, "I know, but like, look at that river. I can't cross it. It's too dangerous." And they look out the window, and indeed, the river is like chest high, and the current is just so strong. There must have recently been a storm or something. It's wild. The rat is like, "Fine, but we are not going to tip you, but we will still give you 5 stars because we know that's important." Driver just like rolls his eyes and leaves. So then the rat and the cat are just kind of stranded there because they look at this river and they're so small that if they take one step into the river, they're just going to get washed completely away. They don't know what to do. They're stumped. And then slowly the animals come out of the brush and start crossing the river. First is the tiger, and even she is taken aback by the sight of this super strong, super high river. And even she's like, "Listen, I'm super jacked and so fit, but like this is a lot. This is going to take a lot of effort." And as she starts to cross the river, you know, it's really, they're not so much swimming across the river. The current is so strong that they kind of have to swim like back up the river, you know, like a very steep diagonal. As more and more animals come, like even the less fit ones, the less strong, the less big ones, all come out of the brush and into the river. And the cat and the rat just see their precious lead in the race just like dwindle before their eyes. The cat and the rat look over at the ram, the pig, and then their eyes fall onto the ox with his big, broad, and importantly, tall shoulders. And the cat and the rat look at each other, and they instantly and silently form a plan. And they're like, "Oh, we're going to convince the ox to take us on his shoulders, and then when we get close to the other side of the river, we're going to hop off and then scurry to the finish line before the ox, and that's how we're going to win this race." So the cat and the rat walk up to the ox and they're like, "Hey, ox, oh my God, we haven't even had a chance to catch up. It's been so long. We hear you have some really great fan theories about Bridgerton. We'd love to hear them." And the ox is like, "Oh my God, yes, so excited to talk about that." And the cat and the rat are like, "Oh, but we should get going, crossing this river at the same time. But also, you know, we're so little. If we paddle alongside you, we're going to get so out of breath, we won't be able to chit chat. So could we get a ride?" And the ox is like, "Yeah, totally. Hop on." Okay, now let's talk favorite sex scenes. With that, our gentle friends enter the river, and you know, the ram and the pig, they're pretty strong, but they're a little bit smaller, so they're also getting pulled down by the current a little bit and scrambling. But our ox is strong, sturdy, steady, and every step that the ox takes is a direct step across the river. And so the rat and the cat sitting on the ox's back, from that vantage point, they can see that they are slowly but surely passing all of the other animals who are still swimming, fighting the current in the river. They're like, "Goodbye, monkey, goodbye, dog." And as they get towards the middle of the river, they see that they're even passing the tiger. Okay, they're in the lead. But at this point, in the middle of the river, the water is super high and it's super strong. The water's splashing up on the side of the ox and it's splashing up in the cat's face, and the cat is a cat and hates this and starts freaking out and just like trying to keep the water out of her face, and she accidentally slaps the rat, and the rat is like, "Oh no, you did not just slap me. That is not cool." And the cat's like, "Listen, I'm sorry, okay, but I hate this. I hate the water. It's cold, and the ox will not stop talking about Bridgerton. I just want to go home. I hate this." And the rat is like, "Listen, this is all your fault. Anyways, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. You wanted to call a Lyft. I think the Uber would have taken us all the way. If it wasn't for your stupid morals, we wouldn't be here." And the cat incensed slaps the rat for real. And then the rat kicks the cat, and then the cat falls off the back of the ox and into the water. And as soon as she hits the water, the current is so strong and so fast, she falls beneath the surface and disappears, swept away immediately. The rat sits there stunned. Even she can't believe what she just did. She just kicked her best friend. She does not know if the cat's even going to be okay. The ox looks back and it's like, "Hey, is everything okay?" And the rat comes to and notices that they're actually close to the other side of the river now. And when she sees the other bank of the river, and she sees the finish line, and she sees the Jade Emperor, and even though she's feeling ambivalent, she remembers the plan. She's like, okay, here we go. And as soon as the ox touches 1 foot on dry land, the rat hops off his back, scurries across the finish line, looks up at the Jade Emperor, and the Jade Emperor says, congratulations, rat, you're number 1 in the zodiac. And the rat is happy to win, sure, but has so many mixed feelings about what just happened that she can't even really celebrate her win. She just kind of sits there watching as the other animals come in. Number 2 is, of course, the ox, who kind of waddled up right after the rat. And then comes in the tiger and the rabbit, and then our golden boy, the dragon, and then somehow the snake, and then the horse, the ram, the monkey, the rooster, the dog, the pig, then crawling out of the river, soggy, weighed down equally by cold river water and the rage of betrayal, is the cat. And the cat drags herself across the finish line, looks up at the Jade Emperor, and the Jade Emperor says, I'm sorry, cat, you're number 13. You don't get to be in the zodiac. And the cat looks at the rat, furious. It's like, I went through all of this, and I didn't even get into the zodiac, whatever that is. The rat catches the cat's eye and looks away, ashamed. Was it worth it to betray her friend just to come in first in the zodiac, whatever that is? And from that moment on, the cat vowed, anytime she saw the rat, she would lunge for it, claws out, ready to strike, ready to kill. And from that day on, the rat, anytime she saw the cat, would run away, unable to even face what she'd done. And thus, 2 former best friends become mortal enemies for the rest of time. And that is the story of both the Chinese zodiac and why the cat and the rat hate each other. And yeah, that's my favorite Chinese story. I hope you like my version of it. If you liked this video, please like it. Please subscribe if you aren't already for more cookie content and maybe random storytelling. I don't know. This is probably a one-off. But yeah, thanks so much, and see you next time.